Hello guys, I am Isaac Note, an interior architect based in Ghana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to teach you the step-by-step process of how to design or model a basic room using SketchUp. Okay, so before we go into that video, I'd like to talk something small about my channel, okay? So my channel is dedicated to people that want to know how to use SketchUp really, really well, okay? So if you are out there and then you are an architect or an interior designer or someone who is into furniture design or woodwork, and then you want to specialize, or if you want to add to your skills how to use a SketchUp software, this is the right channel for you, okay? So you can be a student or somebody who's already practicing as an architect or an interior designer, or let's say you are an enthusiast and then you want to know how to use the software, this is the right channel for you. I am going to take my time to take you through the step-by-step process of how to design in SketchUp. So no worries at all or no fears at all. Take your time, relax, and I'm going to teach you how it is done. And the second thing also is that in my channel, it is going to be um, a progressive learning. Okay, when I say progressive learning, I mean that when we start designing a particular design, okay, let's say a building or an interior space or a furniture, we are going to take it through stages. Okay, so it's not like when we design it, we are done with that. No, when we design it, the next stage is that we are going to teach you how to render with certain softwares, rendering softwares, okay? So my channel is going to be an impactful channel to you guys. I'm not just going to teach you how to design in SketchUp, but I'm also going to teach you how to render when you're done with designing in SketchUp. Okay, so it, today's video, like I said earlier on, is for designing the basic room. So I'm going to show you over here on my screen the floor plan that I drew on paper. Okay, so you can see over here that this is a simple bedroom with a bathroom and then with a dressing area or a dressing room, okay, and then a study area as well. So over here you can see a study area, the bedroom, and then the bathroom, and then the dressing area. If you are someone who is already an architect or an interior designer, you could understand this basic floor plan I have on my screen over here. Don't worry if you're not an architect or an interior designer, you don't understand. Um, let's take you through the quick um, meaning of this floor plan. So this one over here is a window. That is a symbol for a window over here. So whenever you see in a floor plan, this is a window, and this is a symbol for a door. And this is an interior wall, okay, or a partitioning, an interior wall or a partitioning. And then this is a bed, and then the bedside cabinets you can see. Okay, so without wasting much time, let us go to my screen. So on my screen over here, you can see I have the SketchUp app installed, or the icon on my desktop screen. Uh, one thing to know is that SketchUp, we have the online version, the free version. That's the You have to create an account on Trimble. That's not the purpose of today's video. I'm going to do another video on that as well. Okay, so with SketchUp, to begin, or as a beginner, I mostly advise that when using your laptop, especially those using laptops, I really recommend that you don't use the trackpad. Okay, I really advise that you have a mouse. So on my screen, I'm going to show you the type of mouse. So your mouse should be like this. Okay, a mouse should have three buttons. That is the left button, the right button, and then the scroll button. If you really want to know how to use SketchUp very well as a beginner to a pro, you need to have the mouse. Okay, to use the trackpad on your laptop is really going to slow you down. Trust me, you don't want to do that. I'm really advising you because I have been there before. When learning the SketchUp, I thought I could use it on my trackpad, or I could navigate using my trackpad on my laptop, but it really slowed me down and it didn't make me look as a professional. Yes. So like the image on my screen over here, you should get a mouse that has the three buttons, that's the left button, the right button, and the scroll button. It will really help you navigate faster in SketchUp. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to open my SketchUp app. So I'll double click on my SketchUp and then it's going to open. So one thing is that to get a SketchUp app, you need to subscribe or to pay for the license online, okay, to get access to the app. But I know that mostly in Ghana, people, especially students, don't have the money to buy a license for a year because of financial reasons. But if you want the SketchUp app installed on your PC, kindly leave a link, a comment under the comment section, and then I would teach you the step-by-step process on how to get the app installed on your PC. Okay, so over here, the app has opened. That is the home interface. So when you open the SketchUp for the first time, you have this home interface. It has these templates that are in different uh, SI units, that is inches, meters, and millimeters. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I'm going to use centimeters, okay? Because our floor plan, we drew it in the centimeters units, okay, over here. So yeah, so we're going to use a centimeters unit. So I'm going to choose my centimeter unit from the template. I click on it and then over here, it opens for me. Okay, so I'm going to open the app for it to be in a side by side. So this is the floor plan, and then this is the SketchUp workspace. Okay, so on the top side of the SketchUp app, okay, is the title bar. That is where all the title of your project will be saved on. Okay, so let's say if you have to save this work as bedroom, the name would indicate over here. We'll do that as we progress into the video. Okay, and then also over here is the toolbar, okay, or the tools to use to design your bedroom or the bedroom you're about to do. So we have our pencil tool, our eraser tool, and then our rectangle tool. Most of the tool, we will talk about it as we go through the video. Okay, so without wasting my time, let us go into today's topic. So over here, our rectangle or the shape of our bedroom is rectangular in shape, okay? So the one side of the rectangle is dimension 600 centimeters and one side is dimension 500 centimeters. So what we are going to do is that we are going to take our rectangle tool from our SketchUp toolbar. So over here is a rectangle tool. You click on the rectangle tool and then it gets activated, okay? So we are going to zoom in like this. So to zoom in, you just use your finger to scroll your scroll button, and then the software zooms in for you. If you want to zoom out, you do likewise, like I said earlier. Okay, so our rectangle tool has been activated, and then we want to draw our rectangle dimension 600 centimeters by 500 centimeters. So to start, we go to our point of origin. That is the corner point of our axis. Okay, so you see this blue, red, and green axis, they are all meeting at a certain point or a certain corner. That corner they are all meeting is the point of origin. So our rectangle tool has been activated again. So we go to our point of origin and we left click once on our point of origin. When we left click once on our point of origin, you can see that when you move your mouse cursor, the rectangle starts to show on your screen. Okay, so let me repeat the process again. You select your rectangle tool and then you go to your point of origin and then you left click once. When you left click once, you move your finger from the left button while still holding the mouse, and then you move the mouse As you move the mouse, you see that the rectangle starts to draw on your screen. As it starts to draw, we would type in the dimension or the figure of the rectangle we want to create. Okay. So one thing about SketchUp is that you don't always have to move the object to get to the exact dimension you want. Okay. You can just type in the figure you want, and then the software would automatically generate the size in accordance to the dimension you entered. So I said 600, so we will type in 600, then comma on your keyboard, 500. Then we hit enter. You get to know that as we hit enter, the software creates the shape of the room we want to create. Okay, so now it has done that. Now, because of my screen is split into two, that is one side for the software and then one side for the floor plan. I want everyone to follow what you are doing. Okay, so I have to zoom out so that I can see the work area very well. The rectangle I have drawn, I want to see it completely well. So I need to zoom out a little bit so that I can see it very well. Okay, whenever you are drawing in SketchUp, you need to make sure that the area which you are drawing is in full view. Okay, if it's not in full view, mostly you're supposed to zoom out or zoom in to get the view you want, or to orbit or to pan to get the view you want to do. As I go through the video, I would explain what orbit and pan is about. Okay. All right. So we have created our rectangle tool. Now we want to create the wall thickness. Okay, for the exterior wall. Okay. So the wall thickness, if you look at our floor plan over here, if you could see over here where my mouse cursor is currently pointing at, it is saying 25 centimeters. Okay, so the wall thickness according to the floor plan we have over here is 25 centimeters. So how are we going to create a wall thickness on this rectangle we've drawn? What we can do is there's a tool called offset tool. Okay, it is used to offset an object you draw in SketchUp. So this is the offset tool over here. You see that when I put my mouse cursor on it over here, it's indicating on the screen that offset tool, that is used to copy edges or to create outlines or insert. Okay, so we left click on it. Once you do that, when you left click on it, you know that when you put the offset tool on the objects you have drawn, you see that one, the surface of the object is highlighted blue with this dot blue on the surface, and then also on the edges of the rectangle there's this red square that is on the edges of the rectangle, telling you that the tool is ready to be used. So to use it, you left click on it again. You have to make sure that your offset tool is on the surface of the object. Once on the surface of the object, and then the square box, the square red box is on the edges. When you left click once, and then you type in the offset figure you want to. Okay, and now according to our floor plan, the offset figure is 25. So I type in 25 and I hit enter. Once I hit enter, you can see that now we are getting the shape of the floor plan on our screen over here. Okay, so now we've done that. Once we have done that, we press spacebar on our keyboard to deactivate the tool. So anytime you activate a tool on a toolbar, okay, and then you don't want to use that tool anymore or any longer, you press spacebar on the keyboard of your computer or your laptop, and then the tool gets deactivated. Okay, so now the tool has been deactivated. Once it's deactivated, it automatically goes to the select toolbar. That is the cursor you can see over here. Okay, now that has been done. Now we have to create the interior walls. Okay, for the bedroom. Okay, so you can see on the floor plan that there's this wall over here and there's another wall over here. We should know that the interior wall is dimensioned. The thickness of that wall is 10 centimeters. Okay, so we have to go according to the floor plan over here. So to draw that, we would use a tape measure as a guide to draw that. All right. Okay. So then we take it from there. So we select our tape measure tool. On the toolbar, you can see that where my mouse cursor is currently at on the screen, the software is indicating it as tape measure. It is used to measure distances or create guides. Okay. So we left click on it once. Okay. Once we left click on it once, then we are about to create the space for the bedroom and then also the bathroom as well. So notice on the floor plan over here, you say from this side to this side is 100, from here to here is 100, that gives us 200, okay? And then, so we kind of have a little bit of problem over here. Okay, so we are going to create a distance. So from this side of this wall to this side of this wall, you dimension it as 250 centimeters. So 250, we type, okay, sorry about that. So to do that, once we activate the tape measure tool, you put the tape measure tool on the line, okay, where you want to pick the guideline from, or the edge, then put it that way. To do that precisely, you need to zoom in sometimes as well so that you are sure that your tape measure is on it. Now you notice that there is this square red box that is on the edge. Okay, so that is telling you that the tape measure is on the line if you want to be sure. Then you left click once again. Once you left click, when you left click, you move your mouse cursor. Notice that when you move your mouse cursor, there's this red arrow pointing to the right, which is telling you that we are moving in reference to the red axis. Okay, so that means we are on point. So we type in 250 on our keyboard and we hit enter. Once we hit enter, it creates the space we are about to. Okay, so I think looking at this space over here, it is too small for bedroom. So let us pick our eraser tool. So go over here on our toolbar and then click our eraser tool. And then we put our eraser on the guideline. That's the short dashes we are seeing on our screen. And then you left click once on it. It will erase it. So I want to create a much more better space. So let's say 300. Okay, so 300 will do. Okay. So this, where the tape measure tool is hovering around, is our area for bedroom. I think that one is the size of it is okay. Now we use our guidelines to create the thickness of the interior wall. So like I said earlier on, with the tape measure activated, you put it on the guideline. Make sure that the square red box is on it. Okay. Once it's on it, and then you left click once again, and then you move your mouse cursor. Once you move your mouse cursor, and the thickness of that wall is 10 centimeters. So we type on our keyboard 10 centimeters, and then we hit enter on our keyboard. That gives us the thickness. So this dashes is creating a guideline for us to draw our interior wall. Okay, so now the interior wall has been drawn. So what is the length of the interior wall? That one too, we have to determine it. So with the same tape measure tool, we put it on the edge of one side of the wall, and then we left click once, and then we move it. I think with the length of 250 will do. So 250 on our keyboard and hit enter. That creates the guide for our interior wall. Okay, now, so you can see that on my screen, one side of the room we are trying to draw is not shown. Okay, it is kind of hidden onto the other side of the default tray. This, where my mouse cursor is hovering, is called default tray. You can see that the drawing has entered into that side. So another, if to see it clearly, one navigation tool you can use is the pan tool. Okay, so to use the pan tool, you would simply press H on your keyboard. Okay, so once you press H on the keyboard, you see that assistant tool has been activated. Now this tool is used to pan in SketchUp. Okay, so to pan in SketchUp, you just have to, once you've pressed H on the keyboard and the tool has activated, you left click. Okay, you put your finger on the left button, you press it. Once as your finger is pressed on the left button, you move your mouse cursor. So as you move your mouse cursor, the area in which I want to draw comes into view. Okay, so with that being said, I deactivate, I press my space button. So I want to draw the other side of the other wall of the bedroom. Okay, so the other wall of the bedroom also, um, we have to use our tape measure tool. So we go over here and then we activate our tape measure tool. Notice that on the floor plan over here, the wall doesn't start exactly at the end. There's a little bit space and then the other wall starts. So let's say that space, let's give it a little bit over, let's say 30 centimeters. So type 30 centimeters, you hit enter. All right. So the wall thickness, as we said, is 25, sorry, it is 10 centimeters. Sorry, once again. Once we hit the enter, it draws our 10 centimeters guideline for us. Now, we are going to pick our rectangle tool to trace out the shape of the interior wall. Okay, so we go to our toolbar and then we select our rectangle tool, and then I move it to the bird's eye view so that I could see it very well, or you could zoom in, and then you put the rectangle tool, the tip of it, on the, like I'm doing on my screen over here. So it has to be on point of intersection. Okay, then you left click once, then we draw to this side and left click again. Once you do that, then we drew it for the other side of the wall. Okay, so we are done drawing. Now we don't want the wall to look like they are separate walls. Okay, so we want to look like they are all one wall. So we are going to pick our eraser tool and then we are going to zoom in to clean this line in the middle over here. So we clean this line. So you zoom in and then you zoom out and then you put the mouse cursor to where you want to zoom in again. Then when you zoom in, you see it zooms on to where your mouse cursor is at, then you just left click once to clean it. Okay, so I think we have drawn if you look on the screen over here, we are beginning to pick up the shape of the room we are currently working on. Okay, so the other side of the dressing area where your wardrobe would be, there is a wall over that side. So we are going to pick our tape measure to we left click on it. And then see on the guidelines over here, we already have a guideline over here telling us that our wall has to start or has to be on the same side of this wall. So I pick it, left click once, and then I put it onto that wall so that the thickness will be the same. Then I zoom out a little bit. Okay, what I'll have to do now is that to determine the length of that wall. So I'll say I'll give it a little bit of 120 centimeters. All right. Then as I've done that, I'm going to pick my rectangle tool, and then I'll draw my rectangle tool on that guideline. Once I've drawn my rectangle tool on that guideline, I'll pick my eraser tool to clean that line so that it will be seen as one wall. Okay, so when we are done cleaning, I think we have to create what you are left to do is to create the space for the door and then the windows. That one, when we convert this 2D into 3D, then we do that. So now we have created the 2D floor plan of this, okay? What we have to do is we are going to use our push-pull tool to convert this 2D into 3D. Mind you that we could create a 2D uh, version or 2D symbol for the window on this side, but that's not the focus of today's video. If you want to know how to do that, I have a video on that. Kindly check the link down below. Okay, so now with that being done, we are going to convert this into a 3D, okay? So we will pick our push-pull tool. So over here on my toolbar, over here, there's this tool called push-pull tool. You left click once, and then once you do that, when you left click and then you move it on the object you have drawn, you get to know that the surface of the object highlights with this blue tiny dot on the surfaces, okay? Telling you that that area which has been highlighted is ready to be push-pulled. Okay, so with that, we just put the push-pull tool on the area that has been offsetted, okay? So on my screen, you can see that the push-pull tool is on that side. I left click once and then I move my mouse cursor up so that the wall starts to get drawn. Now the height of a room, I think let's give it a height of 300 centimeters. So we type in 300 and then hit enter on our keyboard. That draws that push-pulls the wall onto a height of 300 centimeters. Okay, so now you see that the shape, the thing that was once a 2D has now been converted into a 3D. So gradually, our room shape is coming to life. Okay, so on our floor plan over here, you can see that there's an opening over here. So if you come to the 3D area on my screen, you can see that that is the area, there's space we've created over here. And then over here is our bathroom. Okay, and then here we are supposed to create a door, which will come on to that shortly. And then right after this wall, my mouse cursor is hovering a little bit over this side, we're going to create another door over, and then a window over here and another window over here. Okay, so let's go on. So before we do that, um, we first have to create the floor, okay, for the house or for the room. Let me put it that way, for the room. Now to do that, first we need to click the inside of the room. Okay, once you click the inside of the room, you see that the surface is highlighted once again, this tiny blue dot, which is telling you that the room surface has been highlighted or selected. Then on your keyboard, you just hit delete. So it deletes that area. So you do the same thing for the bathroom floor surface. So you click on it and then you hit delete because we don't need that surface. We need to create an actual floor for the room. Okay. So now we know that the floor is 600 by 500. Okay. So we are going to create another rectangle and then dimension it 600 by 500. So we select our rectangle tool from our tools bar, And once we do that, we come out of the drawing we did and we come over here, a little space over here, and then we left click to start using it. Once you left click to start using, you move your mouse cursor, I start to draw a rectangle for you. Then we type in 600, comma 500, and I hit enter on your keyboard. Once you hit enter, the rectangle is being drawn for you. Now, so let's use a floor thickness of let me say 30 centimeters. Okay, this video is a demonstration video, so just we are doing something for demonstration. So we have done that with our push pull tool. Once we are done with that, we need to group our objects. Okay, so we are going to group this object from this object. In SketchUp, it is very important. One of the beginner lessons I mostly advise people is that you need to group your objects in SketchUp. Okay, so now to group the objects, you need to select the object you want to group, then you group it. You always have to select the object you want to group before you can group it. So to select that object, you click onto that object is selected. When I say you click, you left click on your mouse cursor till that object is selected. Or if you can't do that, another way to select an object in SketchUp is you press the left button. As you are pressing the left button, you move your mouse cursor. As you move your mouse cursor, you see that there's this dashes that comes like a square or a rectangle on your screen. That is telling you that is a selection box. Okay, so once you move it across the object, that object becomes selected for you. So let's go through together. So first I have to delete the guidelines so that the guidelines don't get selected along. Use your eraser to delete that. Okay, so to do that, let's do it together. So you long press your left button on your mouse. As your finger is on the left button, you move your mouse cursor across the object you want to select. Once the dashes have almost captured the whole entire thing, you see that once I move it, I move my hands from the left button, it selects the object. Okay, so either ways works on SketchUp. So you can click until the whole object is selected, or you long press the left button and then move your mouse cursor till the short dashes covers the whole object, and then you move your hands from the left button. Once you move your hands from the left button, you see that the object is selected. One thing you get to know for sure that the object has been selected is that the the surface and the edges of the object is highlighted blue. Okay, so the edges, that is the lines, is blue. The surface is tiny dots blue. That's telling us that the object has been selected. Now to group it, you right click on your mouse button. Once you right click on your mouse button, you see that there's a pop-up menu over here. On the pop-up menu, you look for make group. Okay, so on the you left click to make it as a group. Once it's as a group, SketchUp sees that this is a different entity from this. That way, when you move it and put it on the other, the object does not merge or stick together. Okay, when you don't group things and then you just create things like that, they stick to the surface of each other and then the work becomes so messed up. All right, so we do same for the room. You just have to click until the whole building is selected. Then you right click on your mouse button. On the menu, you select make group. You left click on that, and then it makes that one also a group. Notice that on your default tree on my screen over here, as you're making group, you see that the it's showing on the outliner, the kind of the number of groups we have made so far in SketchUp. Okay, all right. So now we are done with that. Now we have to put the base floor underneath the room. Okay, that is the floor. So to do that, or to move an object, we select a tool called Move Tool on our toolbar. The Move tool sort of is used to move objects from one place to the other, and also used to copy objects as well, or it's used to distort objects as well. So we click on it. Once we click on it, we take the Move tool, and then we click the corner of the group. Okay, the top corner of the group. We click on it. We left click on it once. Once you left click on it once, you move your mouse. Okay, so we are going to put this floor underneath the room. Okay, so to do that, you just have to move the object under it. So like I'm doing on my screen, you have to be precise with doing that. Okay, so we put the one corner to the end corner or the end point of the other group, and then left click once. That puts it on it. So we see we have the floor of the room, or the foundation of the room created. Now we are going to create the windows and then the doors. All right, so the door is, according to the floor plan, the door is a little bit right after this wall. Okay, so we are going to take our tape measure tool once again, you left click, and then we are going to pick a guideline and then move it in reference to the red axis, and move it a little bit from this line. Okay, from this wall, I mean this wall where my tape measure is on. Okay, and then you move it towards a little bit away, and then left click. Now we have to, so the door will start a little bit from this wall where my mouse cursor is hovering. We'll start a little bit away from that wall. Now we have to create a guideline for the width of the wall. Normally the width of the wall, let's say 94 centimeters. So I pick another guideline from this one with a tape measure tool, and then I type in 94 centimeters and I hit enter on my keyboard. Once I do that, we have created the thickness. Now the height of the door, let's pick it as 270. So the height, we start from the top of the floor, okay, not from the very bottom. We start from the top. Without tape measure tool, we left click once, and then we move it in reference to the blue axis. So you notice that the line is indicating blue, telling us that we are moving vertically up in reference to the blue. So then we type in 270 and hit enter on our keyboard. That creates our door for us. So now we are about to create a door on or for the room. Okay. Now, because we grouped this this building, anytime you want to make changes to an object that has been grouped, you need to double click that object. Okay. So because we want to create a door over here, we need to double click on this group before we can be able to edit it. Notice that, let's do a quick demonstration. Let's say we didn't double click and then we activate our rectangle tool. Now we want to draw our door. So this dashes over here is a guideline for us to draw our door. So I put my rectangle tool from here. That's where I want to start. I left click once and then move it alongside the dashes. And then I left click again. And I select my push pull tool. Notice that when I put it on the surface and I move it, it doesn't create a hole. It rather creates another object for me. Okay, so we don't do it like that. I'm just doing this for demonstration purpose so you understand the other side of it. Okay, so to make the changes of it, you just need to double click. Once you double click, you notice that there is this tiny dot dashes around the object we made as a group, telling you that that object is ready to be edited, okay, or it has been selected and is ready to be edited or can be edited. So our guidelines is still there, serving as a reference for us to draw our door. So with our line tool or pencil tool, you can draw the shape of the door following the guideline, that's the short dashes, or a rectangle tool, that's to be very fast. Just click on it and then put on the point of intersection. Always put on the point of intersection because that is where the lines are meeting. And then you left click once and then you move it alongside it. And then it also has to be another intersection and you left click again. So you've drawn the shape of the door over here. Then to cut the hole of the door in the wall, we use our push pull tool. So you select our push pull tool on the toolbar. Once you do that, when you put it on the surface, you see that the surface is highlighted and you left click once. Once you left click, you move your mouse cursor towards the inside. Notice that on the screen you are seeing a reading on surface, or sorry, on face. On face is telling you that now you could cut out the hole in the wall. Okay, so you just left click once again and then it creates the hole in the wall for you. That is the door opening. Okay, the door opening. We have created the door opening now. So once we are done, we need to create another door opening for the bathroom area. That's this side. So I'll orbit. So to orbit, you long press the scroll button and then you move your mouse. As you move your mouse, you see that the object begins to orbit. Okay, so you zoom in really well. Okay, now we are going to draw the guidelines for the bathroom door. So the bathroom door is a little bit um, lower than the bedroom door, or virtually most of the time people make it the same. So just for demonstration purpose, we're going to do that. Okay, so we would pick our tape measure tool and then zoom in a little bit. Notice that the door, there's a little bit of wall before the door starts. Okay, so we are going to use our tape measure to create a guideline, to create a little bit of wall. So let's say 50 centimeters is all right. Then the width of it is 95. And then the height, let's give it 200. Let's make it 270, like bathroom door. Okay. Once we are done, we pick our rectangle to put at a point of intersection to the next point of intersection. We left click. Then pick our push pull tool and put it on the surface of the door opening you want to create. Then you left click once and then you move your mouse cursor towards the inside. It should tell you on face. Once you see on face, it is ready to create an opening for you. Then you left click once and it creates the opening for the bathroom door. Okay, so we select our eraser tool and then we clean our dashes or our guidelines so it doesn't make the work look too messy. Okay, so we are done with that. So what is left to do is to create a window, the windows for the bathroom area and then the bedroom area. So we orbit around, if you like, orbit around and come over here. So the window height, that is, I'm referring to, let me rather go into the interior space so that you guys would understand. Because what you are doing is much more of a interior work. Okay, so this is the interior. Let me expand it. Okay, so this is the interior. Okay, now the interior, the level which the window starts from is always 90 centimeters. Okay, uh, so we pick our tape measure tool, and then from the floor to the side of the top of the window sill, let's make it 90 or 95 centimeters. So let's all be together 90 centimeters, and I hit enter. And then the height of the window, let's give it like 150 centimeters. And then let's pick another guideline from the corner of the room wall, and then let's give it as 80 centimeters, hit it. And then pick from that guideline, and then we are going to give it a thickness of 150, the width of the window should be 150. Hit enter. All right, so we have created the width of the window, 150. Then we select our rectangle tool. Then we go to our point of intersection, left click once, another point, left click once again. Then we pick our push pull tool. We put our push pull tool on the surface of the window opening we want to create. Then we left click once, and then move it for it to tell us on face. Once it's on face, you left click to create the window opening for you. So there you have it. Our window opening has been created. All right, so gradually our room is taking shape. Now let's create the bathroom window. The bathroom window is most of the time uh, in Ghana over here, people do it 100 by 100. Most of the time, it's not even up to 100. It's 90, a little bit lesser than 100. Okay, but I don't want to. For now, for the purpose of beginners to understand, I'm not going to really be going to the standard um, height or standard measurements for certain features in interior buildings or architectural designs. Okay, that one would come later in another video when you want to make a much more practical designs. Okay, so let's say over here we pick our tape measure tool once again, and then we from the floor we pick it on the edge and then move up. Okay, so let's make it 200, height of 200, and then let's make this one. Let me see. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, so this one over here 90, and then we pick. So let's reference the floor plan. So over here, there's a little bit of wall over here, and there's a little bit of another wall over here. So we pick out the measure tool and then give a little bit of a wall. Let's say that's from that corner to that side, the wall length should be 95. Hit enter. And from this side to this side, let's say a distance of 80. Okay. Now, from here, from this line, let's give the window height a little bit of, let's make it 66 centimeters, hit enter. You take a tape measure to clean these lines off away. And then you pick your rectangle tool, you left click, and then left click again from one intersection to the other intersection. Then you select your push pull tool, then you left click once again and you move it towards the outside. when it reads on surface, on face, it means it's ready to create an opening for you. Then you left click once, it creates the space for you. So we have created the window opening. Once you are done, if you really want to delete the guidelines really quick, so one way to do that is to go to the menu bar. On the menu bar, you click on edit. When you click on edit, there's a pop-up menu. On a pop-up menu, select, click on delete guides. Once you click on delete guides, it deletes all the guides on the workspace. All right. So the last thing to do for us to end over here is we have to create a ceiling, okay, or a concrete roof above. So to do that, we don't have to draw another um, object from scratch. We just have to copy the base and put it on top over here. So to do that, we just select left click on the base, you see that it is highlighted blue. Then we select our move tool over here. We click on our move tool. So we are going to copy and move the base to the top. So once the move tool is selected, we just, on our keyboard, you look for control, you tap on the control key once. Once you tap on the control key once, you move your move tool, and then you put your move tool on the corner of the base, okay, any of the corner, this side or that side. And then you left click once. Once you left click once, you move your move to, you see that it copies another object and then you put it on top of it. Now we have our ceiling created. All right, so we have created our simple room with bathroom and then study area and a dressing area. Okay, so now we have our room. There's a bedroom over here, the bathroom over here, and then the dressing room over here, and then the study room over here. All right, so we are done for today. If you want to know more on how to fix in windows and then the doors, and then how to put in, design your bed and then your wardrobe and all that, I have a video on that. Kindly follow me for more on it. So, okay, so we are going to make a progress video on this particular design. So kindly like and then leave a comment on what you think about on this design or this simple design we did on SketchUp. Thank you very much. Kindly subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot and also helps you to learn a lot more meaningful uh, designs in relation to architecture, interior design, and woodwork. Thank you guys. See you.